Dear secondary students, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to a new lesson of English which is entitled What a Performance. Lesson 5, King Lear, Act 4 and 5. Act 4, Scene 7. Continued. In this scene, in the French camp, Cordelia speaks with Kent. She knows his real identity, but he wishes it to remain a secret to everyone else. Lear, who has been sleeping, is brought into Cordelia. He only partially recognizes her. He says that he knows now that he is senile and not in his right mind, and he assumes that Cordelia hates him and wants to kill him, just as her sisters do. Cordelia tells him that she forgives him for banishing her. Meanwhile, the news of Cornwall's death is repeated in the camp, and we learn that Edmund is now leading Cornwall's troops. The battle between France and England rapidly approaches. في باقي المشهد السابع، كورديليا والملك لير الذي كان نائما وبالكاد تعرف على كورديليا اعترف لها أنه أصبح مجنونا، وكان يشك في كورديليا ويعتقد أنها مثل أخواتها الاثنين جورنيل وريجن. في هذا الوقت جاءت أخبار عن موت كورنوال، وأصبح إدموند هو القائد لجيوش كورنوال، والآن اقتربت الحرب بين فرنسا وإنجلترا. ده كان آخر مشهد في الفصل الرابع. Now let's start. Act 5, Scene 1. Regan asks Edmund if he loves Goneril in the British camp near Dover. Edmund answers was no. Regan expresses jealousy of her sister. Goneril and Albany enter with their troops. Albany states that he has heard that Lear has joined the invading French army. Despite his sympathy toward Lear, Albany declares that he intends to fight alongside Edmund, Regan, and Goneril to repel the foreign invasion. Just as Albany begins to leave, Edgar, now disguised as an ordinary peasant, catches up to him. He gives Albany the letter that he took from Oswald Buddy, the letter in which Goneril's involvement with Edmund is revealed, and in which Goneril asks Edmund to kill Albany. Edgar tells Albany to read the letter and says that if Albany wins the upcoming battle, he can sound like a trumpet, and Edgar will provide a champion to defend the claims made in the letter. Edmund tells Albany that the action is almost upon them, leaving Albany. Alone, Edmund addresses the audience, stating that he was sworn his love to Regan and Goneril. He can't decide he will help Regan or Goneril. في هذا المشهد، على الرغم من تعاطف ألباني مع الملك لير، ولكنه وقف في صف إدموند وريجان وجونريل لمحاربة الغزو الأجنبي. كما أعطى إدجار لألباني خطاب محتواه أن جونريل اتحدت مع إدموند وطلبت منه أن يقتل ألباني. والآن إدجار يقف لوحده أمام الجمهور يفكر هل يساعد ريجان أم Goneril. Now Act 5, Scene 2. In a field, the battle begins. Edgar and Gloucester enter. Edgar was shouting that Lear's side had lost, and that Lear and Cordelia were prisoners now. Gloucester states that he will stay where he is and wait to be killed here, but Edgar persuades him to go with him. في المشهد الثاني بدأت الحرب، وانتشرت أخبار إن الملك لير وكورديليا مسجونين الآن، وكان جلوسستر مصر أن يظل في الحرب حتى يقتل فيها، ولكن إدجار أقنعه أن يذهب معه. Now Act 5, Scene 3. In the British camp near Dover, Edmund enters with King Lear and Cordelia. Lear and Cordelia as his prisoners. Cordelia expects to confront Regan and Goneril, but Lear refuses to do so. He describes himself and Cordelia like birds in a cage, hearing about the outside world but observed by no one. Edmund sends them away, giving the captain, who guards them, a note with instructions on what to do with them. He doesn't make the note's contents clear to the audience. The captain agrees to follow Edmund's orders. في الفصل الخامس المشهد الثالث دخل إدموند مع الملك لير وكورديليا وهما مسجونين. كانت كورديليا تريد أن تواجه أخواتها الاثنين بما فعلوه مع والدهم الملك لير، ولكن والدها رفض وقال لها أنهم مثل العصفور في القفص ويظلوا مسجونين الآن. ده كان نهاية المشهد الثالث. Now let's answer some questions. Complete the sentences with these words from the play. We have some words here to complete the passage. Cage, equally, invaded, officers, starve, suffered, trumpet, and trust. Number 1, I don't space him. He stole some money from our teacher. The answer here will be, I don't trust him. Number 2, my brother is learning to play the space. The answer will be the trumpet. Number 3, we must deal with our students space. The answer, we must deal with our students equally. Number 4, the space told the soldiers where to go. The answer will be the officers. Number 5, if you don't get anything to eat, you will space. The answer will be starve. Number 6, the French army space Britain. The answer, invaded. Number 7, the children space from the cold in winter. The answer, suffered. Number 8, it's unkind to keep an animal in a space. It will be in a cage. Question number 2, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Number 1, he space a lot from cancer before death. We have suffered, starved, suspected, supported. The answer will be suffered. Number 2, I will forgive you if you tell me the truth space. Loudly, happily, honestly, quietly. The answer will be honestly. Number 3, this island was space during the war. Created, invaded, invented, continued. The answer will be invaded. Number 4, I don't space your story. I think that it's untrue. We have suspect, deceive, trust, imagine. The answer will be trust. I don't trust your story. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you and see you later in the next lesson.